Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with Off the Board with Pineapple Papers, and this is my inspiration from Pinterest for today. I love the colors in this one, but I was really drawn to it because of this torn layering detail that is the background. So that's what I really wanted to do with this sketch. I also liked the clustered circles on the diagonal. I thought that was also really cool. So that's kind of what I'm trying to pull from this original. I'm pulling out an old favorite. Every time I use this collection, I'm like, how does this collection keep going? But I guess I'm just really frugal with it and I don't use a lot of it at one time. But this is my Peachy Evergreen collection. This collection was the collection I used for my very first process video on here, so that kind of tells you how long I've been working with it. And I get really sentimental when I work with it, just because I remember buying this paper pad really, really early on in my learning scrapbooking journey. And every time I use it, I just remember and I feel like I've just grown so much every time I use it. I wanted to pull it out again. My mom, for my birthday, bought me a whole pack of single sheets that she knew I would love. There's some really cool papers. I'm gonna wait until I have pages in mind for them. But she sent me a whole stack of wood grains, and I'm really excited about them. There's some colored wood grains, some different kind of toned wood grains, but I had to pull this one and I thought this wood grain looked really, really good with this collection. So that's going to be my main layer. You can just see I did that torn detail on the bottom, and now I'm trying to pull in a couple of the scraps from this collection to create a couple more layers. So I have this rose gold fold, I don't know what I'm trying to say, foiled rose gold, like it's not polka dots, but you know what I'm kind of getting at, that bottom paper. And then there's this floral one that I kind of wanted to be the center layer, and I think those with the torn detail, they just look really sweet. I kind of felt like the torn detail was getting lost a little bit because these bottom two papers are white based. So I did go in with my distress ink, and I'm just going to ink all around the outside, and I'm going to ink the torn detail so you can really see that, and I think that looks really nice. And after I started inking with this kind of detail, I decided I would just keep inking everything throughout the page, and I think that's a really nice soft touch, especially with this more nature themed layout or a page. Sorry, I literally just woke up and now I'm doing a process video before I've even had coffee, so bear with me a little bit. But I just think inking this torn edge looks really cool, especially with this brown. I just think it's so pretty. So there's my background. That's inspired by my layout. I have this one 4x6 here. This is from college. This was in my physics class, and I just thought it was really cute because the professor was kind of demonstrating something with this disc he was spinning, and Billy was very interested in it. So I had to take a picture. I just thought it was so cute. You can kind of see my clipboard I'm taking notes on to the left there, and then Billy's little head on high alert watching my professor down there at the bottom doing his little demonstration. So I really wanted to document it. Billy, as you know, when he was a puppy, he was in the Guide Dog Foundation, so I was his trainer actually in college, so he came around with me to all of my classes. We're actually sitting higher up here than I usually do. I usually like to sit down towards the bottom so I can focus better, and then there's less people in front of Billy for him to get distracted by. And usually when we do sit towards the front, the professor likes to use Billy to kind of, when we're doing a question or a problem and we need just a mathematical number, he'll be like, well, he'll like literally measure Billy's tail and be like, okay, so like 20 is our number for this problem when he just needs a random number. I just thought it was kind of funny, and scrapbooking this page reminded me of that moment. But I want to make sure as I'm scrapbooking backwards through college that a lot of these photos don't have me in them. This is before I was a scrapbooker, so really all the photos were of Billy and documenting his journey, not really mine. But I really like that I have these kinds, at least these photos, because it reminds me of all these little moments. But I wanted to pull some of that wood grain in towards my middle layers. I was planning on using a lot of scraps on this page in some layers, so I wanted to pull in that wood grain first, really close to the photo, before I started layering up with all these other papers from the paper pad. So I did just do a skinny white mat. Again, I inked it, and then I did a matte in the wood grain, and I inked it, and now I'm just going in with a bunch of scraps from this paper pad. I think there's only one more 12 by 12 left in this paper pad, and then there's just a ton of scraps. Most of the scraps are kind of too small to do like matting around a photo in, so that's kind of why it's tricky. But I could do something really cool in a grid pattern with 2 by 2 squares or something like that. But that's for another day. I'm sad this collection's kind of coming to an end because I feel like I've had it for so long, and it's such a good neutral collection. I do have these 2 bits here of these little floral clusters that I didn't use on the cut apart they were on. So I am just going to fussy cut those 2 floral clusters to use as embellishment. With collections like this where I really just have a paper pad and no embellishment to go with it, I really like trying to fussy cut elements from the paper pad to use as my die cuts. These pages always kind of come out a little simpler just because I don't have a lot of different textures and a lot of different types of coordinating embellishment to go with it. But I do pull in something really cool at the end kind of for my finishing touch that I feel like is just enough to kind of give it some interest. So I'm excited about that too. But right now I'm kind of going off of the original layout. I just want to do some fun layers and try to get a bunch of these scraps used up. So you can see I'm just trying to figure out, I already layered this foiled scripty text layer, and I really like that because it's kind of similar to the layer that's on the bottom of the page. So I like pulling that up towards the photo cluster. And now I think that's a 6 by 6 cut apart, and I'm kind of covering up the main part of it, but there's text on the bottom. It says good things take time. So I thought that was a nice little sentiment. So I just layered that dark green around the right side of the photo, and now I'm taking these scraps of pink and I'm going to tuck a bit of that on either side. And now there's this multicolored triangular paper I only have a few strips of, but I'm just going to try and find a place for that to the left and right of my photo as well. So I'm just trying to create some interest. I'm trying to pull these colors into either side so there's balance. But yeah, it's a different way to layer when you're kind of using these really tiny pieces. But I really wanted to make sure I got used up, what I could, and all these different patterns and colors are kind of balanced on either side of the photo. So it's just a little game kind of. But I have this horizontal strip of this triangular paper on the right, so I'm just going to create this vertical strip of it on the left. I think that's kind of cool. I think I do want one more layer, I think. So there's a bunch of scraps of this green floral to the left here. So I thought that might be a nice background layer to kind of pull some green in. So I think I'm just inking that before I put that on either side of this page too. But I think that's the final scrap. It's not. I'm going to do one more. Here's this yellow scrap. This is what I was thinking of. This is yellow strip I'm going to do at the bottom. And then there's this green floral you can see to the left I'm going to introduce as well. But my layering definitely kind of went off on its own from the original layout. The original layout was more minimalistic and it was really, really pretty because of that. But I couldn't help myself. I was using this collection that had so many scraps and I was like, I have to try and get more on this page before I have all of these left over at the end of the pack. But here's the green strip. So again, inking again, that's going to get sandwiched on either side of the photo. And I'm pretty sure the photo's just going to sit how it is. I do cover up a lot of this floral torn paper. That's this middle layer of the background. But that's okay. I tried seeing how it would look if I scooched these photos layers like up more or down more, and it just kind of looked awkward. So I'm just going to leave it where it's most comfortable for me here, right along the middle. So that's pretty much where my layers go. And then I have my 2 little floral clusters. I thought they'd look really nice if I layered them over here on this empty corner of my layered bit. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down my photos, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and glue down those florals on that cluster. I think that's a nice little element, and I think the floral clusters look so cute on this wood grain as the background. I just think it's so sweet. So I like that. I get stuck a little bit here, so I think I go in with my title next. Maybe I do the title, maybe I do the circles, but I kind of get stuck here, so I revisit the original layout after I get these florals down. And I remember that there was this really cool, I'm going to do the title next, but there's this really cool circular clusters in either corner of the page that kind of create this diagonal feel. And I thought that was such a cool way to use some scraps, but to pull some different patterns across the page by doing the like circle punches and just put them in clusters. So you'll see that kind of in a minute. I knew, first of all, I love these puffy stickers I got from Christina. I think these came in my Secret Kit Club kit for my Heidi Swap collection I recently used. But anyways, I had some left over because there's tons of letters on that puffy sticker, and I had enough to spell out physics. So I knew I wanted that to be part of my title, but I wanted to be physics something. I really wanted to say like physics class or physics lesson or something, but I didn't have any more S's. I think I only had one more S, and I needed 2 S's for all the words I was trying to spell out. So I just looked up on my phone synonyms for class or lesson, and lecture came up. I don't know why I didn't think of that on my own, but that's why I like utilizing technology in that way. So I'm just going to title it physics lecture. I actually only had 1 E and I needed 2 E's, so I did take a little dash and add it to an F to make it an E. So hopefully you can see that. But this is where I'm going in with the circular punches. I thought this was such a cool part of that original layout, and one of the things I really wanted to replicate. And it was nice because all these extra layers I pulled in around my photo, I kind of can get those colors pulled out to other areas of the page. So I just took 3 different sizes of circle punches, punched a bunch of circles, and then I'm just trying to layer up a couple different shades, whatever I feel like would make the most impact, but would also be balanced within these 2 clusters on either corner. So I'm creating those 2 little circular pieces. I'm inking all the circles. I think that looks really cute, but I think that's such an unexpected little touch. And I feel like just that detail really helps round out my design. I just love these little circle clusters. So bear with me while I ink all of them. I kind of cut more than I needed. I thought at first I might want some yellow circles within these clusters, but the pink I definitely wanted to use was has a skinny white line on it, and so did the yellow. So I didn't really want repeating patterns within these different colors. I wanted each circle to be a different pattern with a different color. So that's kind of why I decided not to go with the yellow. But I think they look cute how they are. So I'm just going to glue down these little clusters. And then I just wanted a finishing touch. And so I was kind of going through my embellishment, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I pulled out my little embellishment container where I keep a lot of my like wood veneer and other things, and I remembered I bought these really cute like little hearts from Shadney's Etsy shop during her February sale, and they are so cute, and I haven't got a chance to use them yet, but they're different shades of pink, and they're kind of this pearlized heart that has some really nice, it's like not super thick, but it gives you some fun dimension, and I think they're so cool. So I'm just going through and picking out the more subtle pinks. I wanted more of the peachy tones and ones that went more with the pinks that are in this collection, because there are some really bright hot pink ones in there too. So I'm just trying to fish through the ones that are in the color scheme. But I think these are so cute. So I'm just fishing through all of those to kind of find the colors I want. And then once I feel like I have enough out, I'm going to figure out what to do with these. But I thought it would look so sweet with having these circular clusters on the diagonal, kind of create that diagonal trickle with these hearts across the page. And in my head, I was thinking about adding way more hearts than I actually did. But as I started adding them, I didn't want to overdo it. So I pulled back a little bit and I just added 3 in either corner, kind of stretching towards the photo to create that diagonal look. But I think these are so cool, and they kind of just, they're so different, and they add just that finishing touch that's interesting. It gives you some dimension because right now everything's very flat other than the puffy sticker. So I just think they're the perfect finishing touch. I always love checking out Shadney's Etsy shop because she's always got some fun little things in there that are different that I haven't seen anywhere else. So super, super cool. But it's just going to take me a minute, especially with my nails. My nails are growing out, and and they're getting to that point where they're almost too long to do things with. So it takes me a minute to fiddle around with these little hearts, trying to get them glued down where I want them. But I think this looks sweet. I'm just trying to pair the little one with the big one, and then there's like a medium-sized one I want somewhere. So I'm just going to glue all of these down, but that's pretty much it. This was a lot of fun. So make sure you check out everyone else playing along with Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. I know a lot of the ladies have been doing Off the Board all month long, every single day, which is really, really impressive. But I figured I could at least play along with a normal day of Off the Board. So I'm going to link everyone in the description. But if you like this whole like pulling from Pinterest boards and everything, make sure you follow Crystal, who's Pineapple Papers, and she always has everyone listed in all of her videos whenever people play along. So yeah, I love it. But I think we're almost done here. I thought about doing journaling, but honestly, I really don't feel like I have to because it's kind of all self-explanatory. My title says it's physics lecture, and you can see my professor and Billy in the photo. So I really didn't think I needed to say too much about it. But here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.